Welcome back, everybody. So today, the dev server has come and gone. Let's discuss what was in there, starting with hitting the subscribe button, and then we're going to talk about the jets. And I'll do some other videos on the other types of vehicles that are adding, but I want to first talk about the jets, because that's what seems the patch is mostly about. But really, the AIM-7s, or the radar-guided missiles. So if you aren't aware, in the next patch, they will be adding radar-guided missiles to top-tier jets. So far, we can confirm that they're going to be added to all the Phantoms and the MiG SMT. The Phantoms, of course, are getting AIM-7s. It seems the US and British ones are getting AIM-7Es. The Japanese one is getting Es as well as Ds. And in the files, they had found Cs, which will most likely go to the Demon. Oh yeah, and I forgot, the French are also getting a radar-guided missile. That one fat one that's on the Mirage. It was also able to fire. However, this missile exactly, I'm not super knowledgeable on. I think it's like radar assisted, not necessarily entirely guided by it, as it currently is in-game and is functioning without radar guidance. Now, unfortunately, in the dev server, the Sparrows were bugged and had a lock-on range of 0.01 kilometers. So how well they perform could not be tested. However, the R3Rs on the MiG-21 SMT were capable of locking on, and from using them in a quick dogfight that I had, I figured that they're not going to be as good as people are thinking them to be. Unless they are heavily improved from how they performed in the dev server, they're most likely just going to be another set of air-to-air missiles. Their lock-on range was not beyond visual, they actually had to be quite visible. And you having to have a consistent radar lock on the target made it so you're going to end up very close to the enemy anyways. If anything, it made them a bit worse than regular heat seekers, as you could not pull away after you fire the missile. However, it was just the first dev server, and there was quite a few things that were kind of buggy, not just these missiles, so we'll have to wait and see how they perform either in the second dev server or in the live patch. Now, as a funny note, some people were actually able to get the missile to fire. The first person I know who did it was the YouTuber Steel Wolf. For some odd reason, the missiles are still able to lock on to targets far off if you're still on the runway, but once you take off, they lose the lock. So if you get just right in between time, you can fire the missile.
Keep going. Oh, I don't know.
Go down.
Legs.
Oh. Yes!
I tried this myself, but didn't have as great results. But anyways, be sure to check out his channel, he has some pretty great stuff. So that's basically all you need to know about air-to-air missiles, or at least all that we currently know. Hopefully in another dev server they will be improved to the point where they actually function. Maybe they will change jet combat. From the look of it right now, I don't think it's going to be too great of a change, which is a bit of a letdown because it's kind of the star of the show right now for the patch. But there are a few other jets that I'd like to talk about. Not only is Russia getting radar lock missiles, but they're also getting the Su-7BKL, which has the exact same loadouts as the prior Su-7B, and historically never carried any guided ordnance, so I guess I was wrong in that aspect, though the missiles did come when the jet came, so perhaps I was also right and was just worded weird. But generally, the Su-7BKL was an Su-7. Perhaps in another dev server it'll get some more interesting stuff, but as it stands right now, it's not that interesting. Something very similar to the Su-7BKL is the Chinese new jet, the Q-5 Early, which is another ground attacker, this time in the Chinese tree, armed only with rockets and bombs. Really, if you want to get down to it, it is just a MiG-19 with a few extra bits taped to it to be a ground attacker. And the terms of ordnance that it did have, it had a good number of bombs and a good number of rockets. The rockets were quite effective at dealing with tanks so long as you hit. And the bomb load wasn't that spectacular. It wasn't bad. There was a good number of them, but they weren't very large. So you'd have to be rather accurate with them to actually get a kill. No amazing 3,000 kilogram IL-28 bombs. The largest downside of this aircraft is it comes stocked with no rockets or bombs, so you can't do much ground attacking, so you will have to take it into ARB to try to get some kills, and you're going to be going up against things that have infrared guided missiles as well as radar guided missiles while you have nothing to throw back at. Now, I'm sure a good pilot will be able to dodge those missiles and kill with the guns, however, I am not a good pilot, so it's going to be rather unfortunate for me. Now, the only other jet that is being added is the IL-28 for Germany, which a lot of people have different feelings for. In the general sense, it's just an IL-28, there's nothing special about it, just like the ones in the Russian tree. For gameplay gameplay factors, in RB it's going to be great because Germany did need a higher tier jet bomber. However, in simulator it's going to be annoying because you're going to have to get close and see those decals, which are actually kind of small on the jet, and they're also red, so you might end up accidentally shooting down a friendly. The main thing that people are disappointed in the fact it is just a copy paste. While there were other jet bombers that Germany could have had, sorta, a lot of them were bizarre late war prototypes or projects that didn't come to be after the war and were finished by the Russians, not Germans. My thinking here is that even if we did get those World War II project jets, I don't know how many of them would actually reach the 8.0 battle rating. Did Germany need a new jet bomber? Well, need is a strong word, but there was room at the end of the bomber line for another jet bomber, and the IL-28 happens to be exactly that, and Germans did use it. Now, where they are communist Germans, but they were Germans at the end of the day. And it seems now that Gaijin wants to add as much copy and paste as they can think of. This was just bound to happen eventually. Now, there was one other jet that was not in the dev server, however, it was found in the files. Not being on the dev server, of course, I can't speak a whole lot about it, but it's a very interesting one, and to a degree, quite anticipated. The SEPECAT Jaguar, a late 60s jet attacker used by both the United Kingdom and France. Now, I can't tell what exact variant it is, but it's probably a very early one. However, what I can tell is it looks like it has some French symbols on it, which probably means that, well, of course, this one's going to the French tree, but probably also going to get a British one, as it would only make sense. But anyways, that's all the information on the new jets coming to the game. I will be making some smaller videos on the new planes coming to the game and the new tanks coming to the game. And I might cover some naval stuff, though I didn't really look too much at it in the patch. So be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to be notified when I do upload those videos. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked it, be sure to hit the like button. If you didn't like it, don't hit the like button. A quick shout out to the VIP champions of the globe, the patrons and YouTube members. Be sure to stay awesome, guys. If you want to join them, there should be links in the description, or you can hit the join button. Thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you later today. In the terms of bonus news, I actually have a question for you. Do you think the F3D should get Sparrows? The variant that used them was the F3D-1M, which was a F3D-1, which we have in game, converted to fire these missiles. I'm not sure what changed in the conversion, but I think you could still use the same model that we have in game. So should we add these air-to-air missiles to a 7.0 plane, which would inevitably make it better and probably increase its battle rating, or keep it at 7.0 and let it destroy everything? I personally think we should keep it at 7.0 and let it destroy everything because it'd be hilarious.